This is Jonathan Agger here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Tyrone McKenna here in Brighton. You've got a big fight, Harlem Eubank, March 7th. When you were offered this, Tyrone, when you were offered Harlem, was it just like a no-brainer to take this fight?
100%. Every fight for me is a no-brainer. As long as the name is attractive, it's a big fight, and it's a fight that gets me excited, then I'm saying yes every single time. I don't care how good or highly ranked anyone is. I just want to fight the best possible opponents that's put to me, and Harlem was the best possible opponent that could have fought, so buzzing for it.
It was mentioned in a press conference about previous Brighton versus Irish battles, obviously Chris Senior, and do you expect something similar to that? You know, unless those type of fights, you had Eubank and Collins, etc.
I would love that. I mean, they were great fights growing up watching them. But it's Harlem got that in him, I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact that I've got him. Everyone knows that I've got it in me to go to war and get him tear up and do a 12-round battle to the death. But can Harlem? We don't know. So I'm going in there mentally strong, going in there mentally prepared for a 12-round war. We'll see how far he gets.
What do you think of Harlem as a fighter and how he's been guided? I guess his career, you kind of mentioned, like he hasn't really fought anyone, hasn't been tested. Obviously, you're the biggest name on his record. Yeah. What do you think of him as a fighter?
I just don't. I think he's good. I mean, I'm not saying that he's shit. I don't think he's shit. I think he's looked good against most of his opponents. I mean, there's been a few that he hasn't looked great against, but I'll not read into that. He's looked good in his career. As I said, he's been guided at 20-0. He hasn't had any hard fights. I mean, I was fighting the world number one in my 12th fight. So I think that shows you a bit of confidence issue that this team have fought. He's only ready for a step up after 20 fights, but. For the opponents that he's fought, he's looked decent, but you don't know how good he actually is until he fights someone real, and we'll see on March 7th how he actually fights.
How important is this fight for your career, and what would a win do for it?
It's huge. Puts me right back the top of the world, basically. I mean, IBF, Intercontinental, puts you top 10 in the world. So you could be fighting for a world title in your next one or two fights. So it's massive for my career. I'm 34 years old. I'm not getting any younger. So I need these big fights to catapult me into bigger fights. So I'm going to be doing a demolition job on 7th of March.
Is that the aim, to get into world title fights, or is it to fight the biggest names possible? Because you've already fought big names and you relish those type of fights. So what's the most important thing?
I never really wanted to become world champion ever. When I was pro, I was always like, I just want to be the most entertaining fighter in Ireland. I want to be known as Mr. Entertainment, which I did do. My whole career, all done was entertain, and I think I earned that title. But seeing my mate Kakachi, he lived down the street from me from growing up, and seeing him win the world title, it made me want to really get it as well. Growing up, he always done something first, and then I was like, I have to do that. And it's still like that. I've seen him lift that IBF world title, and I'm choking to do it myself.
And you look at the division at the moment. You've obviously faced the likes of Prograis, Haro Davis, who's retired now. But is there any names that you want to get in the ring with specifically? Obviously, you're focusing on this one, but in an ideal world, is there anyone that you think I want to get in with him?
There's an IBF world title eliminator the week before. I think Lewis Crocker and Paddy Dom, two Irish fighters. Obviously, I fought Lewis, but I feel the first time when I fought him, I wasn't a fully fledged welterweight. I think I've grew into being a welterweight now. So once I beat this guy, I would love either a rematch with Lewis or a fight with Paddy. Whoever wins that fight would be perfect. I mean, I'm top 10 and I'll be top 10 in IBF. They'll be probably top 3 or 2, so it makes sense.
And the champion is actually someone you know well, I believe, Jaron Ennis.
Yep.
Tell us your history with him.
That's the thing. I think Boots will move up and he'll become vacant, so it makes sense for an Irish fighter to fight another Irish fighter. But anyway, Boots, I walked into the gym with Boots. I was over in Philly. I was trying to find out which coach to go to, and I walked into Bosey's Dungeon, it's called. Went to Bosey's Dungeon, and They're like, there's no one for you to spar. And what weight are you? And I said, I'm 140. I said, you can spar my son. Sweet. And I said, where is he? And he said, pointed. And I said, what age is he? He said, 16. And I said, much fights has he had? And he said, 3 fights, 3 amateur fights. And I went, I'm going to kill his son. Like, I'm destroying this guy. He's a kid. I jump in the ring. The guy beat the fuck out of me. Not that he beat the fuck out of me, but it was way closer than I thought it was going to be. And I couldn't hit the guy. He was unbelievable. I went, this guy's 16 years old. He's going to be a GOAT. And look what he's doing now. I predicted it back in, and he's flying. He's unbelievable. He's a nice guy. He's a hard trainer. We had a quality 2 years of sparring. And that's another thing. Like, I don't think Harlan's getting these kind of fucking experiences. I've sparred Matt Korobov, who's a middleweight world champion. I have sparred for 2 years Boots. I've sparred some of the biggest names in boxing, and I've learned a lot of stuff. Like, it's not just my fights, it's some sparring that I've done as well. So I think just the experience is going to be too much for him.
Did you ever get the better of Boots? Because they say in sparring he actually doesn't really lose a round.
One time, I don't know if you remember, but over the 2 years, I remember this one spar because it's the first spar I actually beat him. I was buzzing with it, and he might have been sick, I don't know. but one spar out of the 2 years, I definitely beat him. I've given me confidence boots.
I seen Bozu was doing an interview with Com from IFL, and he said you're welcome back at the gym anytime. Are you going to go back maybe for this camp or?
Bozu's gym's lethal. It's full of talent. Even Boots' brothers are unbelievable. And he's a great trainer. I love training with Bozy. I love the spars. I love Philly. So yeah, I would love to get out there again. And the wars you have in Philly sparring are top notch. So I'd love to have a few more gym wars.
What do you think of his fight coming up against Stanionis, the other world champ?
I believe Boots. I think Boots is insanely special. I think I've always said it from the Spartan that he's insanely special. He's got it. He's got everything. He's got absolutely everything you need in boxing to succeed. He has it. I think he'll be a pound for pound great.
How do you think he'd do against Terence Crawford?
Everyone's attacking when I say it with Boots, but he's my man. The guy's lethal. He's unbelievable, and with Bozy in the corner, who's a really good coach, and his brothers, he's just set up. I believe he beats Terence Crawford. Maybe not now, but maybe in a year's time. But when they fight, if they fight, I believe Terence gets beat.
Interesting. Well, Tyrone, finally, shout out your podcast that you're doing with Tommy McCarthy.
Whiskey and Weight podcast. Get it on YouTube, or Spotify, whatever. It's on all platforms. Unbelievable content. There's even an episode with Harlem Eubank in it, would you believe? So he stole my spot in one of the episodes. Him and Tommy hosted it. So I'm gonna get my revenge. He hadn't allowed to take my spot.
Brilliant. Well, a little backstory there. Finally, what's your prediction for March 7th, live on Channel 5?
Get your money on KO round 5.
Brilliant. Look forward to it, Tyrone. Good luck.
From a few fights ago that I'm only going for wars. I love wars. I enjoy standing toe-to-toe trading with the other fighter and breaking his heart. March 7th will be no different. We'll be able to swim in the blood in the ring after that fight. I'm going for this. This is going to be non-stop action. I don't think Harlem's ready for this. I think he's been guided to 20-0. I think he's been guided with his last name. I don't think he's ready. I think it's a step up too much for him. And I'm going to show up in March 7th.
Harlem's only right to come to you to respond to what Tyrone just said.
You know, Tyrone's going to be in for a hard night. He likes the wars. You know, he's picked the wrong one this time, and he'll find that out the hard way on March 7th. But he's operated at a very high level. You know, he'll think that because of that resume and that he's fought at up to world level, and he's fought great opposition. You can't take that away from him. He'll believe that he is, going to walk into this fight and going to come out victorious. And I'm here to put an end to those mistruths that he's planted in his head. And I think he could be in for his toughest night.